purpose of this playlist is to go over some, if not all, of the most important principles that I live by, that science can never prove wrong. For the purpose of this playlist, I will refer to God as the source of righteousness. Okay. Love, and the true moral warrior spirit, and truth. In the supernatural realm that scientists can never prove doesn't exist, and they can never prove that God is not the source of these things, no matter what they say and do. Partially because they cannot be trusted. They are two-timing, kind of underhanded, diabolical beasts that like to use intellectual jargon and are teamed up with propaganda departments to mislead people for the purpose of social control. They are far beyond the point of no return in this regard. That mixed with the idea that they could magically cover all the variables and prove that God doesn't exist. Okay, it's obvious that they can never prove this thing wrong. And as such, we see a problem emerge. Who wants to live in a world where only the descendants of those who took the less logical and less moral path exist? This is not a world worth living in. They have screened out the most righteous people for their less logical, less moral, less romantic, less warrior-like path. That is unacceptable. So, the first principle I'll go over is the principle of a worthy death. This is very important in this day and age. A, we must consider the highest logical principles leading to death in a way that allows one to die in a way that is acceptable and honorable to the source of righteousness, God. Versus dying for a corrupt state. Right away, corrupt states, cultures that are allowed to exist, these are not worthy deaths. They're allowed to exist because the evil criminals that control society believe that these paths don't make morality clear enough to make them look bad, so they can then extract the most attractive women and children, etc., from these cultures. That's why they're allowed to exist. B, a moral order versus a nonsensical order. Or people saying, hey, you know what? We'll get to that later. This nonsensical temporary fix, okay? It is stupid. It is what the criminals love to use. It says, you know what? Let's be functionalists, and I'll get to that later. All right. So obviously the principle of a worthy death, okay? Dying in the divine order, the moral order, the true moral order, in a way that makes you right with God or the source of righteousness in the supernatural realm or the unseen realm. Okay, the true source that predates the planet and so on and so forth. It's very simple. It is not worthy for someone to either think they know better than the most moral man who proves it through mental clarity, through martial arts sparring. It shows these principles of mental clarity. Okay, it's wrong to cheat the top martial artist out of his right to lead when he's morally sound and he says, hey, present a viable counterargument. If you have something, if there's something I'm missing here that's of the utmost importance, especially, state it and let's cover it. When you have no viable counterargument, it is wrong for you to cheat him out of his right to lead. And I'm the last valid top martial artist because of breeding technology and the scientists that love to lie and be underhanded and team up with the propaganda departments. So this, I think I've more than covered this, what it means to have a worthy death. It means to be in this moral order and to listen to what this guy says and to obey him, especially where it matters most. If you have no viable counter-argument as to why you shouldn't obey him, you should obey him. Simple. And if you live your life in a way that isn't consistent with this principle, then you die in a way that is unworthy to face God. And you're better off being blotted out of the book of life or burning in hell forever than to be in the presence of such a wonderful God for eternity or for any period of time. It's very simple, a worthy death. The principle of insult and sabotage. Now listen very carefully. The people running psyops against me and all the people who sabotage me on every level don't truly grasp this principle. They understand it to some degree, but they don't grasp it or else they wouldn't do what they're doing. To insult or sabotage the logical and in real life top martial arts, not media propaganda, right, means that people sink lower. Okay, when they make me wake up with white stuff on my face, or they make me sickly, make me stumble on my speech, they insult me, they covertly sabotage me, they harass me, they persecute me, this makes them sink lower. So to make me look ugly doesn't magically make these people better. It makes them worse where it matters most. They are ugly inside. This kind of, when you have sex with somebody, you have some kind of connection there that people have trouble describing. And you should notice that these people are sinking lower. Okay? The relationship they have with their families is less. The relationship with their wives is less. The relationship with God is less, and obviously not in this order. So it's the principle of insult and sabotage. Okay? It is a fool's path to insult, sabotage, or pretend they're better than someone like me. I am the last valid top martial artist, and I'm being persecuted for my political views in a country where you're insane if you don't believe me. Thank you.